Okay, so we begin our lesson today on numeracy. I welcome you all back to class for numeracy lesson. Welcome back, Enyonyam. Now, a few reminders. Your microphones are to remain muted. If you want to speak or ask question, any contribution, use the raise your hand button to raise your hand. And when you raise your hand, wait until you are called before you unmute your microphone and speak. This session is being recorded as usual. So as much as possible, we like to avoid interferences that will slow down the class. So please let's adhere to this. Avoid fidgeting, avoid moving around, avoid playing with your younger siblings. Stay focused on me, on the lesson, so that you can have a good understanding of what we are supposed to do. Very good. So this mid-morning, we have numeracy, and we are looking at a new topic. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see what we are going to do. Okay, I hope you can all see my screen. Let me enlarge this a bit. Okay. Give me a wave if you can see my screen. Okay, Dioli, your hand is up. Do you have any question?
No, I wanted to say that I revise all the numeracy on weekends and on weeks days.
Very good.
And I've now got
Okay, Dioli.
I've now got the numeracy.
Okay, so we are starting, so just pay attention. Okay. Okay, so our new topic for numeracy this week, our topic for this week is on position and direction. How to describe position and direction. Position and direction. Now let me take you through some of the words we use in describing position and direction. So these are the words. The first one, please focus on the screen so that you can get what we are doing. So first of all, we have clockwise, which means to turn on your right, okay? One thing you should notice, position and direction is about movement. It's about movement. Which direction do you go? Where is your current position? So in movement, you move either to your left or to your right. You move either forward or backwards, okay? Either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So let me explain the new words to you. So the first word is clockwise. Clockwise means turning to your right. So whenever you make a turn on your right, you can differentiate between your right and your left. So whenever you make a turn on your right, you are turning clockwise. Is that okay? Whenever you make a turning on your left, you are turning anti-clockwise. Why do we say anti-clockwise? Anti means opposite of something, okay? Opposite of something. So if turning right is clockwise, the one you are turning on your left, you are turning on the opposite of your right. So anti-clockwise. That is why we have the word was anti-clockwise. So which means opposite of right, which is your what? Left. Very good. We'll be looking at words like quarter. So we'll have a bit of fraction in this topic. The meaning of, we've learned quarters and halves. We'll be using them in this topic. So don't forget your fractions. If you have forgotten, after this lesson, go back and revise. You have to know your quarter, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then a whole. Okay, the same apply to halves as well. Now, other words which we are already familiar with, please focus on the screen. Other words we are already familiar with are backwards. So moving backwards means you are going back. Forward, moving forward means you are moving ahead of you. Up, down, left, and then right, like I explained earlier. So these are the words we'll be using in this topic to describe position and direction. Now, let's look at the learning objective of this lesson. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to follow directions when given, or give instructions to someone to follow, and then to be able to tell the position of a person or of any other thing using these words that I have explained. Is that clear? Give me a wave if that is clear. Okay, dearly, I would love to see you. I would love you to keep your camera on. Okay. Now let's go on. Now, like I said, the first thing we are going to look at is describing movements. Now, position and directions are divided into 3 parts. We are going to divide this into 3 parts. The first part, which is describing movements. Describing movements. The second part is making turns or rotations. Okay, turns is the same as rotation, making turns. And then the third one is making patterns with shape. For that, you are going to build on what you learned in year 1. So we are going to take it one after the other. We are not going to put everything together. So we are going to take it one after the other. So today we are going to look at describing movements. How to describe movements. Yes, Jolly, your hand is up again. Do you have a question?
I cannot show my camera.
Kindly ask mommy or daddy, whoever is around you, to help you turn your camera on.
Okay.
Good. Now let's continue. So today we are starting with describing movements. How to describe movements of anything, either a person, either an animal, depending on where the person is. And we'll look at some examples. Okay. So in describing movements, we are going to use the following words. I hope you can all see my screen. We are going to use words like forward, backwards, left, right, okay, to describe what? Movement. Now, using the words forward, so we are reading. Using the words forward, backwards, left and right, give your partner some instructions to follow when moving around the classroom. So for example, assuming you are on the playground and I say, move to your left, you know your left, you move. Move 2 steps to your right, so you count 2 steps to your right. Okay, that is what movement is about. You can get up and try it. Let's get up and try it. Let's all stand up and try it. Let's all stand up and try it, just some few seconds. Now, move 2 steps to your left. Everybody, move 2 steps to your left. Move 2 steps backwards. Move a step forward. And then move 3 steps to your right. Very good. Now you can sit. So that is it about describing movements. Giving instructions with these words: forward, backwards, left, and right. Now it is always important to take into consideration, it's important to note where you are currently standing and the direction you are facing. Okay, where you are currently standing and the direction you are facing, because where you are standing and the direction you are facing affects the direction, the direction you are asked to move. Okay, so for instance, if I'm here and then Nyonyam is standing in front of me, my right is Nyonyam's left. Do you understand? And my left is Nyonyam's right, because I am facing a different direction and Nyonyam is also facing another direction. So our left and our right are on different sides. So if I am moving to the right and Nyonyam moves the same direction I'm moving, it means Nyonyam is moving to the left and he has got the instruction wrong. Is that okay? So for instance, if you are facing someone and the instruction says, move to your right, don't look at the person you are standing in front of. Just focus on your right and move to your right. Because if you focus on the direction the other person is going, you will get it wrong because you are facing different directions. Is that okay? Give me a wave if that is clear. Okay. So, does anyone have a question? Does anybody have a question? If you want to have a question, just use the raise hand button. Okay, Dioli. Any question on what I have explained so far? Yes, Dioli, ask your question.
I don't have any question.
Okay, let's move on. So we have an example here. We have an example here. And Nyonyam, please read the instruction here for us so that we can do this together. Please unmute your microphone.
Complete the STEM sentence to describe the movements made.
Very good. Complete the STEM sentences to describe the movements made. Now, we have a table, let me call it a graph. Can you all see the graph? Can we all see the graph? Yes, okay. So we are going to use this graph here to answer the questions here. Now, on this graph, we have what? Certain insects and animals on it. So we have the spider here, the tortoise here, or the turtle. It looks like a turtle. The bee here, and then the ants. Please keep your attention on the screen. And then the ants. Very good. Now look at the direction they are moving. The spider is moving this direction. Now the arrow, the blue arrow shows the direction the spider is moving. Okay, so the spider is here and it's moving this way. So it's moving what? Look at where the eyes of the spider are and tell me whether the spider is moving forward, backwards, left or right. I'm going to call someone. Yes, and Adoma, unmute your microphone and tell me which direction the spider is moving. Look at the graph and tell me which direction, where the spider is, and look at the arrow. And tell me which direction the spider is moving. Is it moving forward, backwards, left or right?
Forward.
It's moving forward. Very good. Very good. Now let's look at the turtle. The turtle is here. Look at the arrow. The arrow is showing the direction of the turtle. Which direction is the turtle going? Using backwards, forward, left or right? Yes, Dioli. Yes, Dioli. Is it moving forward? Unmute your microphone so I can hear you.
It's moving forward.
Very good. So when you look at the graph, you can see that all the insects or animals are moving forward. This is where they are facing. So they are moving forward. The bee likewise is also moving forward. And the ant is also moving forward. Now, let's come to our sentences here. The turtle. Now, look at you use the arrows to answer the question. Okay. So the turtle has moved 1 square dash. So the turtle is here. Per the arrow, looking at the arrow, if the turtle should go according to the arrow, it means the turtle is moving 1 square, just 1 square, okay, because the arrow ends in just 1 square, it doesn't extend to the next square. So you look at the number of squares too. So the number of square on the graph is important. And look at the number of square the arrow is moving. It's also very important, okay? So the turtle has moved 1 square in which direction? Yes, and Yonyam.
Clockwise.
We are using the word backwards, forward, left, and right for describing movement. So the turtle has moved 1 square. Look at the direction of the arrow. It's not clockwise. The turtle is not turning to the right. So it's not clockwise. Look at the direction of the arrow. Which way is the turtle going?
Forward.
Forward. So the turtle has moved 1 square forward. Is that okay? Now let's go to the next one. The spider has moved dash squares dash. Now look at the location of the spider and look at the arrow and tell me how many squares the spider is moving and which direction is the spider moving. Yes, and Yonyam again. And Yonyam again. Please, when you are called, quickly unmute your microphone and speak so that we can work within the time. Yes, and Yonyam, unmute your microphone and tell me.
Backwards.
Hello, look at the position of the spider. Where is the spider facing? Look at the spider's eye and look at the direction the arrow is going. Is it moving backwards?
Back, yes.
No. This is the back of the spider. If you say it's moving backwards, it means it's going this way. Look at the direction my arrow is going. It means it's going this way. But the spider is facing this way. So is it moving backwards? Dioli, help him.
Forward.
It's moving forward. How many squares? So the spider has moved how many? 3.
3 squares.
Very good. 3 squares. So Nyonya, please pay attention. Look at where the head and the eyes of the spider are. So use yourself as an example. If you are asked to move forward, you look at where you are facing. Where you are facing is in front of you. And behind you, where you are not facing, is back. Is that okay? So this spider is moving 3 squares. 1 square, 2 square, 3 square forward. Is that okay, Nyonyam? Okay. Now the next one, Aduma. The dash has moved 2 squares up. This time around, which of the insects or animals has moved 2 squares up? Look at the graph and tell me which insect or animal is moving 2 square up. We have the spider here. Is it moving 2 square up? We have the turtle. Is it moving 2 square up? We have the bee. Is it moving 2 square up? And we have the spider. Is it moving 2 square up? Which of them is moving 2 square up, Adoma?
The bee.
The bee, very good. So this is the bee. It's moving what? 2 squares up. Look at where the bee is facing. So 1 square up, 2 squares up. So the bee is moving what? 2 squares up. Okay. Now the last one, the last question, Dioli. The dash has moved dash squares down. First of all, which insect or animal is moving downwards? And then you count how many squares that insect or animal is moving downwards. Yes, Dioli.
2. And the insect is an ant.
Is it the ant? This is the ant.
Yes.
Is the ant moving downwards? Look at the direction of the ant. Is it moving downwards? Is it moving down? Is the arrow showing down? Which of the arrow is showing down?
The spider.
Yes? You whispered the answer. Come up. Come, let me hear you.
Spider.
The spider. The bee is showing up. This is an arrow showing up. When you are looking at the direction of an arrow, always look at the small triangle. Where the small triangle is facing, is the direction. So this bee is moving up. So it's certainly not the bee. The turtle is also moving forward. So it's certainly not the turtle. The ant is also moving forward. Certainly not this ant. The forward of the ant. This is the forward of the ant. Now, this is the spider who is at the top of the chart. So the spider moving forward means it's going down the chart. It's going down the graph. Do you see it? This is down the graph. Okay. And then this is what? Up the graph. Okay. So the spider is coming down. So it means your forward can mean you're down, or your forward can mean you're up, depending on the direction you are facing. That's why I said it's always important to take into consideration. It's always important to pay attention to the direction you are facing, or the direction the animal or whatever it is you are using to answer the question is facing. Is that clear? Any question? Any question? Yes, Dioli.
Don't have a
Hand is
patient.
up. Okay, then let me lower your hand for you. Now let's move on. Now let's look at another one here. This one requires you to draw in your book. So I hope you all have your book and your pencils there. You know you can't come to class without your materials. If you're a doctor, how can you go to the hospital without your coats, your stethoscope and all that? So I always say this, you're a student, you don't need to be told to come to class with pencils and books. Okay, I will spare you, but next time you have to remember to come to class, every class with a pencil and a book. If it's a numeracy class, the counting objects, whatever it is, you come with it. That is why I always ask that you read through your notes before you come. When you read through your notes, you know the things you need. Okay. Now let's look at this together. We have another chart here. And on this chart, we have a dog bone. I hope you can all see that. We have a dog bone. We have the dog food. We have a donut here, a football here, and then a dog here. Now this arrow here is showing the direction this dog is moving, but it's not going to affect the rest of the questions anyway. So this one requires us to draw the arrows, not all of the question. Okay, let's start from the beginning. The dog, now look at the position of the dog and look at the direction the dog is facing. Is the dog, so look at the direction the dog is facing and let's answer the questions. Now the dog is moving dash squares dash. Now this red arrow you see here is showing which direction the dog is going or moving. It's showing which direction the dog is moving. So remember, look at the chart and tell me, now the arrow, which direction is the arrow pointing? To the dog. Yes, and Yunyam. Yes, and Yunyam, which direction is the arrow pointing to the dog? Yes, quickly unmute your microphone and tell me. Look at the direction of the arrow. I've told you that always look at the triangle on top of the arrow. It tells you which direction it is moving. Hurry up, you're running out of time. Yes, Jolly.
It's moving forward.
It's moving forward, good, or upwards, okay? So it's moving forward or up, okay? Now how many squares? So the question is asking for how many squares. So the dog is moving how many squares up?
Third.
3. So 1 square, 2 squares, and then what? 3 squares. Do you see it? Focus on the screen. Good. Now let's move to the next question. Draw a line that shows the dog moving 3 squares to the right. Draw a line that shows the dog moving 3 squares to the right. Now when you look at the chart, where is the right side of the dog and where is the left side of the dog? Looking at the direction the dog is facing. So which direction will be the right side of the dog? Adoma. Please unmute your microphone.
The right.
Where is the right of the dog?
Where the bone is.
Where the bone is that the right hand side of the dog? Look at the direction the dog is facing. The dog is facing this direction. So imagine you are standing in the position of the dog. Where will be your right side? Is it towards the bone? Because towards the bone is up, forward, ahead of you. So where will your right side be?
My right side will be here.
Can't see what they're pointing. Use the paper.
The right side will be.
I mean, show it to her so that she can see it.
The right side.
I can't hear you. Please speak up.
The right side will be here.
So towards the football. So just look at it and tell me that my right side, the right side of the dog is towards the football. Towards the football, that's the right side of the dog. So it means we are going to draw a line, 3 squares. So 3 squares from the dog will mean your line will begin from this square, which is the first square on the right hand side of the dog, to the football. That will be 3 squares. Okay, so automatically we have answered the next question. Where does the dog finish? So if you draw the line from here, if you draw the line from here, 3 squares, 1 square, 2 square, and 3 square, automatically the dog will finish where the football is. Is that okay? Any question? Is it understood?
Yes.
Yes? Any question? So I'll repeat this. Bear in mind the direction you are facing. It is very important. Bear in mind the direction you are facing. Whatever it is you are working with on your paper, whether it's a dog, whether it's a cat, whether it's whatever, always pay attention to the direction the object is facing. That is the only way you can determine which side is forward, backwards, left, right, up, or down. Please, so look at, when you're working with the worksheet, always look closely at the picture and determine where the object is facing. Yes, Jolly, your hand is up. Jolly, stop playing with the raising of hand button. You raise your hand, I call you, and you don't have anything to say. Okay. Now let me take you through your assignment. Yes, Adoma, let me hear you. Adoma, your hand is up.
It isn't up.
Come again.
I don't think.
Adoma, come again.
Just scratch.
You don't have any question.
Scratching my...
You were just scratching your head.
No.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to give you a short homework. You have maximum 3 days to work on it. If you're able to finish within the 3 days, you can go ahead and submit it. So it means by Wednesday, by the close of Wednesday, everybody should have submitted this homework. Like I said in the first lesson, there'll be no end of term exams, but your assignments, your quizzes, and your end of unit test is what we are going to put together to give you your total marks and to grade you. So if you don't do your work, if you don't do your assignments, if you don't submit them, know that at the end of the term, it's going to affect your grade. It's going to affect your grade. So make an effort and do your homework. Yes, Jolly.
I can finish right now.
It doesn't matter. Let me just explain. After the class, you are free to do it and submit it. Anytime you finish, submit it, but make sure by Wednesday, every work is submitted. Okay. All right. So let me take you through the homework that I'm giving you. Okay, so this is, I hope you can all see. Can you all see my screen? Give me a wave if you can see the screen. Okay, so this is our homework for today. So we have a chat here. We have Dennis on the chat, and then we have a home here. School. So Dennis is going to school. This is where Dennis is. So you look at the direction, the direction Dennis is facing. So Dennis is here. The arrows have indicated the movement of Dennis, which direction Dennis is supposed to move to get to school. So you're going to use the arrow to describe the route Dennis will have to take to school from where he's standing. So you start with this first arrow. So you tell me where this arrow is going. So maybe if he's moving backwards, you say, okay, so Dennis moves backwards. Then maybe he turns left. He moves 2 squares straight. I want you to use the vocabulary: backwards, forward, up, down, left, and right. Is that okay? So use the vocabulary to explain the direction of Dennis. And here too, we have start and finish. In what ways can you move from start to finish? Whichever direction you can take to be able to get to finish from start, you indicate it. Is that okay? Any question? Our time is up, so we are going to end our numeracy lesson here for today. We'll meet again on, I think, Wednesday. Okay, so we'll call it a day. Make sure you are present for your music lesson at 12 o'clock and be on